Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Shooting the Shit with Yankee. As always, I'm Yankee, so let's start shooting. Today I want to hear what you think about concealed carry insurance, self-defense insurance. Do you think it's a good thing? Do you have it? Who do you have? Do you think everybody should have it? Or do you think it's just a scam? Do you think that when the time comes and you need it, they ain't gonna pay you? You're not even the insurance holder. Well, I'm going to start us off today, as always, saying I'm one of these people that leans towards, a few dollars a month is worth it. It's better to have something like that than not have it if you need it, on the chance that it pays off. But I am becoming more and more critical of whether it actually does anything. Because here's the thing. If you end up facing any charges whatsoever, 95% of the time that's going to end with a plea deal. They're going to end up saying, well, okay, we're going to charge you with something lesser and let you get off on the murder charge, because there's a question about whether we can prove murder or whether it was self-defense. Well, you do a plea deal, they're not covering anything. We've seen that. There's been a couple cases where the person took a plea deal, they didn't cover them. There was also another case where a person shot their ex-husband, and the insurance company themselves reviewed the case and said they're not covering it because they believed there was question as to whether it was self-defense. So she had USCCA, didn't get her expenses covered. Had to cover her expenses because in the end, they determined that there was too much evidence that it wasn't self-defense. The insurance company, not the prosecutor. And I do believe she ended up taking a plea deal too, but she'd already been denied on her insurance. So I see so many cases of it being denied. Well, not so many, because there's not a lot of cases where someone actually has it and shoots someone. But to see any cases of people being denied when it's so rare that someone has it and shoots anybody makes me question whether it's legitimate. So even though I still think kind of like, well, it's better to have it and not need it, because if you buy it, you hope you never need it anyway, than not have it if it would pay off. But I don't wholeheartedly endorse it anymore, because I don't know if I can 100% support it. But like I said, I want to know what you all think. So I'm going to go over here and see who's weighing in over in the live chat. If anybody's got anything to say, and see what people got. Gummy Wuzzle is the first one to weigh in, who bailed on us yesterday during the live chat. I don't know where he went. He got jumped out of the jerk circle. I guess he finished early. Scam, nice idea, but I don't think it's worth it. Well, we'll see when you shoot somebody. We'll see if you think it was worth it. Would be great if it worked. Heard a lot of bad, said Mikey D. I unfortunately have heard some bad too. And this is one of those things where you probably shouldn't hear anything, because there's so few cases where someone shoots someone in self-defense and that there's any question as to whether it was self-defense or not. Like the guy up in Seattle. If he'd had USCCA, he wouldn't need it because there was never any charges filed, because it was clearly self-defense. So hearing a couple cases where it was self-defense and they still got denied, well, that makes me worry if it's worth it or not. Plus, if you're one of these people that owns this, like you own the policy and you're covering all these people with it, and you're paying the policy, and even one person uses it, well, the prices of the policy going to go up dramatically. So I don't know if they're eager to pay out and help anybody. Spark68 said, get it if you want it. I don't have it. My state blocks lawsuits for justifiable defense. Well, a lot of states do too. The problem is, do they deem it justifiable? If you got a prosecutor who's like, I got a way that I can show that it isn't justifiable, well, are you really covered? All right, let's move on here to the next person. And it's John M. Mandrick. Like all insurance, it depends on how they are written and what they conveniently do exclude from coverage. I am not sure they can pay out if you're found guilty. If you're found guilty, they can't pay anything, because they can't cover you on a crime. You can't have insurance against committing a crime. So if they find out you did something through negligence or criminal intent, you're not going to be covered, period. That's why people who take plea deals, because you accept some sort of responsibility, even if it's just figurative, just, you're not really getting punished for anything, but you're saying okay, I'm not going to go to jail. I'm not going to get a criminal record. I didn't commit murder, but I'm going to accept some responsibility, and I'm going to have parole, I'm going to be on supervised release for 3 months or something. That still is omitting some responsibility, and therefore they ain't paying it. So you might have to choose, well, do you want to go through a big, long court case, which if you're found guilty, you're going to jail, and then they're not going to cover it? Or do you want to just take a plea deal and get off with a slap on the wrist in a really bad situation, and then they ain't covering it either? Sean Bain, I do have it. Part of my range membership. Don't think it's a scam. You have to read the fine print. Ghost Shadow said be available, but no law mandating banning it. Oh yeah, I mean, you think it's okay to have it around. You're not really addressing whether you think it's good or not. You're just saying people should have the option. Yeah, Washington bans a lot of shit, and they shouldn't. I had it until they banned it. Got a letter saying we can't cover you. You're not coverable. You're shit out of luck. Made me feel sad. Made me feel like I wasn't special. That was Ghost Shadow that said that. Edgar Cortez says, we live in a very litigious society. It is unlikely that we will need self-defense insurance. Until we do, it is inexpensive, and I carry a $2.5 million with USCCA. That's who I carried with too, till they told us in Washington we can't have them. Now, someone told me something might have changed since then, but I don't know what it was. Mr. Furley says, I don't have it, but maybe I should. Maybe you should. You planning on shooting? Have you pissing off a lot of people where you might have to shoot somebody? I bet you probably are pissing me off. Don't shoot me, though. I'd rather not get shot ever again. I mean, it's just one of those things I'd like to avoid. I don't know if it'll be possible with my attitude and my big mouth, but I would love to never be shot again. And, surprisingly, in my life, I've never been shot for being a loudmouth. I was shot in the foot once for being an idiot and shot myself in the foot. And I was shot in the back of the head once by, total negligence, accident, and it was just a grazing. So, and that one hurt. Oh my God. The one in the foot hurt. The people who tell you, oh, you don't feel nothing right away. You just, oh God, no. It was intense, searing pain from the second it happened. It felt like someone had smashed my foot with a sledgehammer. It bruised all the way up my shin. I had bruise marks. It turned purple pretty much up to my shin from hitting the bone on the top of my foot and deflecting out. It bruised me all the way up past my ankles. So it hurt. Oh my God, did it hurt? I cried like a baby. Not like tears crying, just like, oh my God, this hurts, motherfucker. I think I was swearing, and I was rather young at the time. I was a teenager. I got a couple more people weighing in here. Coral, better to have it, not need it, than need it, not have it. That's what I kind of said too. And the cost is so minimal that it's like, if you get in trouble and it works and it helps, well, that was a big benefit. If you never get in trouble, or you get in trouble and it doesn't help, well, it wasn't that big a difference. The little bit of money you paid on it's not going to have made a difference in the end. So the chance that it would help is probably worth it to me for the little bit of money every month. And Coral, I hope he gets his dog. He's scheduled for his surgery tomorrow. We raised the funds. We'll do the drawing in between tonight. Sparks 68 chimed in one more time here and said, risk depends on state, county. Mine has no risk. Well, no, there's always risk. I hate to break it to you. Because if you go over to your neighbors and just shoot him in the face and then you go, it was self-defense, you're still going to face charges. Because if they can say it doesn't look like self-defense to us, they can still file charges. And if they can justify that with any evidence, you can still be charged. It's not like a whole thing of all you got to do is say self-defense and you're out of the woods. No, there's nowhere that is true. Even if, like, say you went over to your neighbors, like you're going over saying, howdy neighbor, have some apple pie. And he goes, well, thank you. And then he pulls out a knife and says, die, asshole. And then you shoot him. You're probably still going to face charges because the circumstances are very questionable. And it's, very unlikely that would happen and no one's going to believe your story. So just saying it's self-defense, if there's no proof that those really odd circumstances happened, then you're probably still going to face charges. And you might even go to jail because it'd be real hard to convince a jury that I took him some apple pie and we were friends forever. And as soon as he sat the apple pie down, he attacked me with his hedge clippers. It's going to be hard to prove, make people believe that. So you got to be careful. I just don't ever shoot nobody you don't need to. That's how the best way to be safe from it is don't shoot nobody that you don't need to. I think that's good advice. If I ever teach you anything, that would be one of them. Don't shoot nobody you don't need to. And never go jogging. It's not worth it. That's another one. Spark68 says, never plea deal, forfeits 2A rights for life. For some people it would, depending on what your plea deal is to. There's sometimes where what you plea to would not be something that would prevent you from having 2A rights for life. But plea deals are never really good. And more often than not, if you had a good attorney, if they offer you a sweet plea deal, it's because they don't got enough evidence to convict you. And if you can actually afford a good attorney to get you out of that trouble, well, then you can get out of that trouble. But yeah, if I had the insurance and I was charged with something that was self-defense and I'm still being charged, I would not take a plea deal. I would want my insurance to help and get me out of this. And I would tell the attorney, I've got this insurance. If I'm found innocent, you'll be paid. And hopefully we can work something out. Unless he's like, yeah, they don't ever pay. I ain't doing that. But hopefully it would be okay. But that's it for us today. I want to thank everybody who weighed in and kept the conversation rolling. I appreciate it. Also, you out there in YouTube land, what do you all think? Do you have self-defense insurance? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think it's a scam? Let us know in the comment section below this video. I hope to see what you think. And if you want to weigh in in person on one of these topics, come into our live chat. We do them every day at 6 p.m. After we do our set topic, at the beginning, we stick around and we do an open chat where you can talk about whatever you want. So come on in, join the conversation. Hope to see everybody here tomorrow. Until then, remember, always carry and stay safe until I see you again. Hey everybody, Yankee here. Before we go, I just want to take a second to remind everyone that this channel is 100% viewer funded. We don't take a penny from advertisers, retailers. We don't take money from political organizations. There's no one telling me what I need to tell you. Everything that we do is done through the generosity of our viewers, either buying merchandise or becoming a patron or a Subscribe Star member. You're all the ones that support Pets and Vets and TYMP. And that's the reason I can stay true to myself and loyal only to the people who watch my channel. And I can spend my time talking about what I want to talk about, telling what I think needs to be said, and giving you my uncensored take on things I think you need to hear. So if you'd like to help keep things that way, please support the channel by becoming a patron, a Subscribe Star supporter, or just going over to my web store and buying some merch. The links are all in the upper corner of this video.